All right, guys. Welcome to On Texas Football. I'm Blake Munroe, joined by Bobby Burton. And Bobby, the news just keeps coming today. It seems like one thing after another. And this time a little bad news for the Longhorns, really, as backup quarterback Malik Murphy has announced his intentions to enter the transfer portal.
I tell you what, Malik is a good player. Really served Texas very, very well for a couple of games this year. Helped Texas obviously win against BYU, but then came out on fire in the first half against Kansas State. The Longhorns held on to a victory. Without that, and Malik Murphy's first half performance, Blake, I don't know that we're sitting here in mid-December talking about the Longhorns getting ready for the college football playoff. At the same time, Malik Murphy, this may have been predestined when Arch Manning committed to the Longhorns almost a year and a half ago. Arch performed well in his limited duty at Texas, very limited compared to Malik. But it was also clear Murphy knew that the Longhorns, young signal caller and Arch Manning was a definite plus. The big thing that I'm hearing, Blake, and you please comment on it because you've got the ESPN report. They're saying that Malik not going to be with the team during bowl practice.
Yes, that is correct. He wanted to, but the timing did not allow him to, he says. And then, Bobby, he went on to tell ESPN's Pete Thamel, he said, "It's nothing against Texas at all. I'm doing this purely for me and my future. In my eyes, I'll always be a Longhorn and a part of this great team," end quote.
Yep, you look at it. He finished 40 of 71 this year, completed 56% of his passes, 477 yards, 3 TDs, 3 interceptions, passer rating of 118. Also had a fumble of note that was recovered by BYU. But all in all, I mean, I thought he was a serviceable backup this season for the Longhorns. As much as anything, though, what I think this sets in motion, it tells me that one, Quinn Ewers, if it was at 90% 2 weeks ago when I called that and said that, I think it's moved up to 95.
I agree.
Quinn Ewers very likely returning. What it also means is Arch Manning's path to the field is very clear at this point. There's no getting in between him and starting quarterback position at the University of Texas. Now, it may be a year later than what some people predicted. It may be his redshirt sophomore campaign instead of his redshirt freshman campaign. But now there is absolutely no doubt about what's going to happen with the future of the Longhorn quarterback position. Murphy, by the way, guys, I want to tip my cap to him because he could have left Blake last season.
Yeah, no doubt.
He had plenty of options, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, easily could have went elsewhere, as you said, Bobby. I mean, I'm kind of, I think that speaks to his character that he didn't, and kind of surprised, I mean, in today's age, not saying surprised that he didn't, but in today's age, it's now like the norm, so.
No, we had what, 60 Division I quarterbacks hit the portal in this offseason so far. And the fact that a year ago, Malik Murphy did not. He didn't do it in the fall. He didn't do it in the spring after a terrific spring practice where he knew he wasn't going to be out. Quinn Ewers was the returning starter. He still stayed put. And so, look, and I also want to say this. I was told, back about a month ago that Steve Sarkisian has a soft spot for Malik Murphy, really likes him, thinks he's a good guy, good person to be around, good with his teammates, all of those things. And I was told that Sark would absolutely help him try to find a place to go play as soon as possible. So if that were to be Murphy's decision. So I don't think we're going to see Steve Sarkisian sit back here and, be, he's not going to be mad about this. Yeah. I think he understands the decision. And what it also does is next year, this means that Texas really will only have Arch Manning as a true backup, no veteran backups. Trey Owens, who's at the Houston Touchdown Club Offensive Player of the Year. He's up for that award tonight. He's going to be there. So all of this going on right now, Blake, the Longhorns have a lot of it. But the idea right now, at least, that Texas and their quarterback situation looks more clear today than it did, I mean, just 2 weeks ago, right? Now we know Malik Murphy kind of saw the writing on the wall and decided to do something about it. The disappointing part, I think, that probably everyone would say, is him not playing in the bowl game. That's a big piece. I mean, why wouldn't he go ahead and play in the bowl game? Why doesn't he? Does he need to go ahead and put his name in the transfer portal so that he gets out there? But he could have put his name in the portal and still played in the bowl game based on Steve Sarkisian's comment.
Yeah, that's one thing I didn't understand. And that report said that he wanted to stay with the team, but the timing didn't allow him to. And I guess I don't, obviously we don't know all the ins and outs of this situation, but it seems like you would want to, number one, for that experience alone. But number two, you never know what happens. You may go in there and get some more game film on you that could help you out, which I guess could be a pro or a con, depending on how it went. But I don't know. I don't really understand why you wouldn't in that case. That's interesting to me.
Yeah, I do. I think that I don't know whether it's just the need to go on visits, maybe the need to figure it out ahead of time. Because I will say this, think about it. What if they went to the second week of the college football playoffs?
Very true.
Would you rather have him out in the first week or both weeks? I mean, you know what I mean by that? Because then if it goes to a second week, then he really can't go visit anywhere.
That is true. Good point, Bobby. Good point.
I mean, I feel like that's probably one of the things that entered into the conversation. But more than anything, Blake, I just feel like he's been a good teammate. He's been a good player for Texas. He's not a guy that you've ever heard behind the scenes that belly ached, any of that stuff. He did have some injury problems. They plagued him almost his entire time here. And you know what? I mean, that's hopefully all of that is behind him. Hopefully he no longer has to worry about those things and those little nicks and stuff, especially his foot, I think, is a big part of that. He's such a big guy that any injury around a guy's foot, it tends to worry you. But look, Longhorns, like I said, end of the day, clearer picture towards the path at being the quarterback of the University of Texas tonight with Arch Manning than even a day ago or a night ago. And I feel like you got to understand there's not room for everybody. Texas is extremely, extremely blessed with the players they have on campus right now, especially the quarterback room. Quinn Ewers, potential first-round draft pick. Arch Manning, potential first-round draft pick. Trey Owens, really good player. KJ Lacey in the pipeline as well. You mix all of that together, and this has been a monumental news day for Longhorn fans and quarterback. But overall, think about it. I mean, Kobe Black committed a few minutes ago. The SEC schedule's coming out. All of this stuff happening on a single day. It's just so much to deal with. But look, I think I wish nothing but the best for Malik. And I want to say this, Malik Murphy, hook 'em, buddy.
No doubt. Hey, real quick, Bobby, I want to ask you, would you be surprised if he went anywhere else besides a West Coast school? A lot of speculation that he'll go back, obviously originally from California. You see him going back that way, going back towards home?
Yeah, I think that's a likelihood. I don't know that it's a definite. I mean, these quarterbacks, they've got to kind of go where the spot makes sense for them. And, if UCLA or Arizona State or Fresno or, throw the name in there, right? Cal
any of those West Coast.
If none of those fit for him, Blake, then he'll look everywhere. I mean, I think quarterback Dylan Gabriel's gone from Hawaii to Central Florida to Norman, Oklahoma to now Eugene, Oregon. You go where you can play. Go where you can play. That means more than where you live in the offseason.
No doubt. And then, Bobby, real quick, I was just going over the Texas roster while you were talking. Obviously, Arch Manning, the other Charles Wright, the sophomore on there. And then, of course, the only other two options would be Cole Lord and Joe Tatum. Lord, of course, the junior, Tatum, a sophomore, walk-ons. But that's the entire depth chart for Texas till Trey Owens gets here.
Yeah, well, let's hope Texas doesn't have to resort. No offense to Charles Wright and his family, who good from everything I hear, just great people. But let's hope Texas doesn't get to Arch Manning in the Sugar Bowl, much less Charles Wright. Let's hope.
Need everybody healthy.
Yeah, let's keep everybody healthy. Let's go win some football games.
There you go. All right, Bobby. Well, like we said, to open it up, it's been a very eventful news day. Who knows what else will pop between now and then? SEC schedule coming out here in a matter of minutes. So there will be some more news then, but hopefully that's it as far as the negative or the bad news goes for today.
All right. Sounds good, Blake.
Yeah, well, thank you all for tuning in. And for Bobby Burton, I'm Blake Munroe, and we'll see you next time.